Joining us now is Democratic Senator Coons of Delaware, who is a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and a good person to come on the show whenever we need him. Thank you so much. Take a look at this. A few Democrats and their thoughts. This is a call for number 4, everyone. If you could play that for the senator, please.
To read the statements from President Biden, you'd hardly know Palestinians existed at all.
Many members of Congress have instead fallen back on a blanketed statement defending Israel's airstrikes against civilians under the guise of self-defense.
The President and many other figures this week stated that Israel has a right to self-defense. But do Palestinians have a right to survive?
How do you feel about the Democratic position being framed more by what the far left is saying rather than somebody like you who might have a more moderate voice?
Well, the Democratic position is only framed by those few far-left quotes here on Fox. In the Senate, in my home state of Delaware, throughout the country, President Biden and I would say the leadership here in the Senate of the Democratic caucus frame our message on critical issues domestically and internationally. And I think President Biden has been constructive, measured, and appropriate in his response to the ongoing violence in Israel, and making it clear that he supports Israel's right to defend itself from attacks by a terrorist group, Hamas, while still saying he supports a ceasefire and regrets the loss of life as this conflict goes into its second week.
I would just point out, the Washington Post had a headline today from Henry Olsen. He's one of their columnists. The left-wing divide on Israel-Palestine is going to be a problem for Joe Biden. And to your point, maybe it won't be. We can continue to talk about that another day. But the president did call yesterday for the first time, and I agree, very measured response for several days. But last night around 5:30 p.m., we get the word that he is calling for a ceasefire. Do you agree with that?
Well, that was after President Biden had a conversation with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Look, President Biden was a senator for 36 years, vice president for 8 years. He came into this job with deep relationships and with a real grasp of how to lead with diplomacy rather than worry principally about social media or the response of editorialists. So I think his response is timely, measured, and appropriate.
And so you want a ceasefire as well?
I think we need to see a resolution of this conflict, and I'll continue to advocate for the right of Israel to defend itself and to call on both sides for a de-escalation of violence.
Some Democrats are objecting to the administration's approval of some weapons systems, about $735 million. Do you think that might be canceled?
I doubt that very much.
And going forward, do you think that the Abraham Accords, of which the President Trump helped arrange, are you pleased that that seems to be holding in the region as agreements where you could have hopefully a better way to deal with this going forward? And if that's the case, would you advocate for President Biden to restart peace talks between Israel and Palestine?
Well, look, peace talks between Israel and Palestine are principally the responsibilities of the leaders of Israel and the Palestinian people, their representatives. And one of the real challenges in terms of making any progress in peace talks is the lack of electoral legitimacy for those who lead the Palestinian Authority, and the lack of a government being formed in Israel despite election after election after election. The United States plays a crucial, convening, supportive role for any path forward on peace in the Middle East. But one of the things I most admire about President Biden is he has been relentlessly focused on getting vaccines in arms in the United States, in getting our schools and businesses and communities reopened. From the day he was elected to the day he was sworn in to today, he has principally focused on delivering the relief that the American people needed, sending support checks, relief checks to 160 million Americans, and getting 200 million vaccine shots in arms. We have a role to play in peace in the Middle East, absolutely. But frankly, President Biden has relentlessly focused on getting America out of this pandemic.
All right. Brought up a lot of issues there, and I only had 10 seconds left, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you, Senator Coons. Appreciate it.
Thank you.